Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the 6-0 podcast. I'm your host, Walker. This is
I'm
Jordan.
Jordan. We're back. Let's go.
We're back again, coming at you to talk about a little college football and then hopefully a little NFL at the end. Let's keep this one short and sweet.
Well, actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I want to switch it up this time. I want to start with some NFL. We have one of the great Saturdays. We have one of the great Saturdays of college football this past week. I want to save it for last. We're going NFL first. We're switching it up.
I was not expecting this.
Oh, yeah. It was my surprise of the week.
This was a surprise, and I kind of like it because I'm sure we have some viewers that have never made it to the end. So if you didn't know, we talk about NFL in the second half of our hour-ish podcast. So I appreciate the change.
Let's go.
Let's get this one started. So kicking us off on Thursday night, we had the Rams and the Seahawks. It is actually currently Thursday night. The Eagles and Buccaneers are playing, but we figured that wouldn't be worth watching because we all can pretty much guess how that one's going to go. I might jinx myself. Like, what if the Eagles win?
Well, I'm looking at the score now. Bucks up 7 right now, so never know.
But anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about Rams Seahawks. So the Rams obviously get another win. Russell Wilson goes down with finger injury. Did you see it? His finger was like bent. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looked a little rough. That was on his throwing hand too. And Geno Smith is coming in. So
I didn't even know Geno Smith was still in the league. I'll be completely honest. I was watching the end of the game and Geno Smith was in. I'm like, wait, Geno's still in the league? I had no idea.
Yeah, I feel like he's been a pretty good backup. I think he's pretty smart. But
yeah.
What I was gonna say was, I mean, obviously with that division is brutal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with the Rams, 49ers, and Cardinals also in there, you gotta think with, I mean, Russell Wilson being out for however long. How long do we think it's going to be? Like 4?
I think like a month or so. So let's just say 4 or 5 games. If you can win 2 of those, I count that as a success if you're the Seahawks.
I agree, but I also got to think, like I said, with how talented all those other teams are and the competitiveness in their division there, I got to think. I don't want to be too pessimistic, but I might say that the Seahawks season might be over. I mean, it's going to be real tough to claw out of that hole with Geno Smith, and I haven't looked at their schedule going forward, so I'm not completely sure. But it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs this year.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It was the Robert Woods coming out party too. Matthew Stafford finally threw it to him. Matthew Stafford looking like a potential MVP right now, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
definitely up there.
He's clicking in that offense. I mean, like I think I've said in pods past that I think that was the reason why they got him. I mean, he kind of unlocks a new dimension to that offense, and I mean that's what they paid for, and they paid heavily. So but speaking of never mind, keep going.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything.
I was about to try to transition and it was the wrong transition. So anyway, I had a couple other games I wanted to talk about. We're going to keep the NFL segment a little shorter today. I wanted to talk about the Eagles coming back from 15 or something.
Yeah, it's like 15-3 or something like that at one point.
It kind of looked like how the Panthers games have been going. That defense has been the Panthers defense is pretty good. And honestly, the Eagles,
it's got Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, and CJ Henderson. Mm-hmm. And they already had I guess JC Horn, but he's hurt, and they have what's his name, Jeremy Chin back there.
Yeah.
I mean, they have like a good secondary. Mm-hmm. They have a good defense in general. Shaq Thompson looks really good for them too. Changed his number to number 7, just starts going off. Brian Burns is looking like probably the best edge rusher out of that class when he got drafted. I don't know. That's a good defense. Imagine if they still have Luke Kuechly too.
I forgot he randomly retired.
Dude, he retired after like 8-9 years. Yeah, and he was top of the league. He was a 2-time All-Pro, I think, something like that.
Yeah, they would be looking pretty good.
But yeah, I heard. I don't know. I didn't watch a lot of this game. I did see that Sam Darnold, I think, threw 2 pretty bad picks there in the second half. which kind of is what sealed the deal. So
yeah, I don't know what happened there because I felt like he was taking care of the ball pretty well before that, and just all of a sudden he just started pressing and just. I have no idea. That's what happens when you don't throw to DJ Moore. He only scored 6 fantasy points for me. So
Jordan has DJ Moore in fantasy for everyone listening. If you couldn't already figure that one out. But yeah, I think I guess you live and die by Darnold in that case. I mean, some days are going to be good, some might be bad. I mean, that one was a little rough. I hate to say it's all his fault, you know what I mean? But I mean,
yeah, well, the thing is, yeah, he threw some picks like in his own territory that gave the Eagles a short field. That's what screwed him. That sometimes Sammy D likes to do that. Like even at USC, like he makes those like just like even like you see some of the Jets when there was that argument if it's a Jets fault or Sammy D's good or Sammy D's bad. The Jets fans would point at some like just atrocious decisions by Sammy D, and they'll point at like he'll do that sometimes for some reason. He'll try to force it, and it just looks absolutely terrible. So I feel like with Matt Rule and Joe Brady, hopefully they can help him figure it out and not be so chaotic, I guess, with that. Sure. So.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, he's been looking good up to this point. I guess I don't know. I mean, good players have games. I'm not necessarily saying like Sammy D's super good or anything, but I mean, it happens. Yeah, it takes maturity, and he's only what? He's 23 or 24.
Yeah, like, he's definitely still like
young. Super young. Has a ton of. I think he's younger than like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I think he is. But that was a bad loss for the Panthers. That was a really bad loss.
I feel like people forget about that. They're so quick to move on in general, and I'm kind of like, yo, this guy is a kid still.
Well, even with rookies, with rookies nowadays, everyone thinks that you're going to be Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert right out the gate, and if you suck that first year, everyone just gives up on you.
I was going to say, everyone. I was like, especially recency.
Just not even like quarterbacks, just players in general. With that kind of stuff. Like, we've seen plenty of players who like year 3 they just start balling. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen.
I was gonna say Josh Allen is the biggest example of that. And honestly, I will say he's what am I trying to say? Definitely not a common case. I feel like you don't often see, especially a quarterback that performs that badly in his first couple years. Like he was looking real bad his first year. They were like, yikes. And then I was kind of like, hey, the team around him's pretty good, and they were winning games like with his legs, they had him running the ball. And I was like, I mean, they're playing to his strengths, and he just blew up last year, and he's looking like one of, if not the best player in the league this year, I'd say. So that's pretty awesome. But I do think that's almost an overused comparison at this point, because people are
the first person that popped in my head, but there's
probably I know, but
Peyton Manning were like
defending
20 picks.
He threw more than that. He threw like 28 or something, didn't he? It was a ton. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. People can use those comparisons. I think their stories are all different, but I agree. It's tough on rookie QBs in general, or just young QBs. Like there's an adjustment period.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, that's basically all I had to say about that game. And I want to talk about I don't know if you want to. No, this was a stinker. I was going to say, is it the best game or the worst game? But it was the Packers and the Bengals with an absolute kicking nightmare.
That's in the league in general, not even that game. I felt like last week it would seem like a bunch of kickers were missing extra points or missing field goals. I think I saw that it was like 12 missed extra points last week.
That's crazy. I mean, that's one of the reasons they did it, though. And
that was right after kickers were getting hyped up for like Justin Tucker kicking like a 66-yard field goal, and somebody else kicking a 60-yard field goal, Matt Prater kicking like a 60-yard field goal, and all that kind of stuff. So who knows?
For sure. Yeah. I don't know what's up with the league right now. It's a little weird. Maybe there's just not a lot of good kickers. I can't really say they're hiding out in college.
Did you see the Bengals kicker? Like he thought it was good and he started celebrating, but instead
it hit the flag on top.
Yeah.
Sorry, I moved my head. I was trying to hide it. That's Chucky, by the way. Double meaning here. I picked the Chucky background one because that was John Gruden's nickname, was He's gone. Yeah, that's rough. And also, kind of Halloween. It's October. Figured it'd be a good fit. So if anyone was wondering why I had the Chucky background, there you go.
There's always a meme.
Yeah, the ending of that game, no one wanted to win. Wasn't there like a missed field goal each or something going into?
I feel like it was like two of them. Like Mason Crosby missed one before regulation and one before and one in overtime, and then the Bengals kicker who went to Florida, Big L, missed one or two in overtime maybe.
Yeah,
I can't remember. It was something like that. It was something crazy.
Yeah, that was one of those games where neither team deserved to win. It's like if you could just give them both a loss, that would be more appropriate.
Hey, you gotta take the dubs nowadays. Bengals are a good team. It's looking like they're looking pretty solid.
I think so too. I mean, yeah, they're what 3-2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like there was a big controversy with the Jamar Chase pick. Because I remember a lot of people wanted Slater or Sewell. They were like, "Please protect Burrow," but I'm.
Oh, he's balling. He's going off.
Jamar Chase is going off, guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. Would you say rookie of the year right now? I would say so.
Offensive rookie for sure. I mean, I certainly wouldn't put it on any of the quarterbacks. Maybe Mac Jones, if we had to pick one to represent the rookie QBs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you had to pick one, I mean, it's got to be the one that's started the whole time. I guess Zach Wilson has also started the whole time, but it's certainly not going to be.
Look like it.
He'd have to throw 100 touchdowns and not a single other pick to get that one at this point. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know what was up with that one. What were we talking about? I got lost.
The Bengals game.
Yeah, I was saying Jamar Chase. Yeah, he looks fantastic, and honestly, he's making me. I don't know. I was teetering. I think we did pick for our mock draft, which we didn't put on here because it was a long time ago at this point. But we'll do a mock draft for this upcoming draft. But for the mock draft, I think we did pick Jamar Chase to the Bengals.
Yes, we did.
I remember feeling. See, I should also say when we do our mock drafts, you guys will learn because we'll probably discuss them on here. That might be a good episode, by the way.
I agree.
But I was gonna say I seem to remember we do them what we think the teams will do, if that makes sense. Not what we would do if we were the GM of all 32 teams. Mm-hmm. But I definitely remember.
We definitely.
I remember thinking they should have taken a tackle. I wanted them to take Sewell. I feel like that should have been the pick. And honestly, I mean, I'm glad I'm being proved wrong.
Yeah, especially after the preseason disaster with him dropping balls and said he didn't even know how to catch an NFL football, you were thinking big oops. And then it's that question of you're wondering should players start opting out and all that kind of stuff. Right. One of the guys that opted out and he was looking bad in the preseason. So it's one of those things. How much does that matter and everything? Well, it looks like it doesn't matter at all because right when the regular season started, he started going off. So
for sure, yeah.
Same thing with Rashard Slater. He opted out too, and he's balling. So,
dude, that guy's honestly one of the top tackles in the league right now.
Oh yeah, he's been fantastic. He's gone up against Myles Garrett and Chase Young. Two of those guys were off the top of my head, and he's held his own. So.
Yeah, well, I guess moving on from that, sorry, we got a little sidetracked talking about the draft. I want to talk about Bills Chiefs. So this was a rematch. I think this was a rematch of the AFC Championship last year, wasn't it? And yes. I'm going to say it as someone who watched this game. I don't even think the score was necessarily indicative of how bad this one was. I feel like the Bills just destroyed them on offense and defense. And it makes you wonder. I think we maybe even last week or the week before, we were kind of the Chiefs are okay. You know what I mean? They're the Chiefs. They got Patty. They got Andy Reid. And I'm starting to wonder, do the Chiefs actually have a problem here? Hold on. Because
their defense is terrible. Their defense is 2-3 right now.
Bad. And that defense is letting up 30 points a game.
They're really bad.
It's not great. And
it's really bad. And Patty keeps on turning it over. He's throwing too many picks. I don't know what he's doing. He even said in the I think he said in a press conference either after the game or the next day, he's I gotta reevaluate myself here. I gotta take a step back and because whatever I'm doing, I'm being an idiot. So I gotta basically look at everything all over again. And start from scratch. So yeah, I feel like the offense will start figuring out Patty's too coachable where he knows what he's going to do. So the offense will be fine. I have no problem with that.
Right. And I
But
still
that
think
defense is super bad. That defense is going to screw them.
I don't see a scenario where they don't make the playoffs, especially with that extra spot there. Like, there's no way they're going to be, not at least the 7th best team in the AFC. Like, they'll make it there.
Their offense will get them there enough.
Whether they struggle to get there, that's not it. But I mean, they'll make the playoffs. But I'm starting to think the Chargers might win that division.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll just have to see what happens.
Speaking of them, that game against
the Raiders.
That game against the Browns was pretty crazy too.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think Herbert's different.
He is. He's an MVP candidate too, right up there. They're 4-1. They were a game-winning Cowboys field goal away from being undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I saw a stat that like the Browns were the first team ever that had like 500 total yards with no turnovers and lost. What a classic Browns stat. Of course, it's the Browns that do that.
I need to go find that stat.
It was something like 400 or 500 yards and zero turnovers.
Mine was a different one. It was something like times that, I don't know, your team has scored 48 points and lost or something like that. And it said, I'm pretty sure it said Baker is like the only person in NFL history who's lost 2 games where his team scored 48 points.
That's crazy.
Or something like that. And it was like Tom Brady has played like a gazillion games and he's only lost like 1 where he scored 48, I think.
That's crazy.
I need to go find that, but
did you watch that last drive from the Browns? It was terrible. What terrible clock management. What's Baker doing? He keeps on doing the dink and dunks, not throwing it towards the top. They had 0 timeouts. Dink and dunks getting like 5 yards, guys not getting out of bounds, not throwing it towards the sideline. Terrible clock management by Baker and the Browns. I'm not going to blame it just on Baker, but the head coach, I don't know what you're doing either. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing there. But they were running all over the Chargers. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt went off.
I have both of them in fantasy, by the way. That's a fantastic combo.
Oh, yeah. And that definitely was going well.
Anyway, that was the game this week, right?
What, the Browns Chargers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was this past Sunday.
Oh, well, dang. Well, I'm glad you brought it up because I actually did not have it written down for some reason.
Yeah, I was looking at the scores. So I'm like, oh, yeah, this game happened. So
anyway, that's cool. And then I guess the last one I want to talk about was Monday Night Football. We had a pretty colossal collapse, or maybe clutch Ravens. But Ravens, I remember I didn't watch this game, or I watched the very end of it. But the first 3 quarters of the game, I remember looking, Colts were up like 22-7 or something weird like that. Yeah, I remember being like, that's weird, because Colts, kind of suck. They're what, 1-4, something?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was like, that's interesting. I remember checking the score again, like just kind of looking to see what the final score was. And I saw that they were like in OT. And I watched highlights and stuff. But just looking at the stat line, Lamar's stat line, I'll say, is one of the best I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
For a single game, he threw over 40 passes, had 86% completion, had like 440 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and 60-something rushing yards. Good Lord.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not exaggerating. That is like one of the best performances ever.
Well, the crazy thing with that too is that he was total ass. Shout out to David for the segment. He was total ass for like the first 3 quarters. He was terrible. And he fumbled on the 1-yard line and everything. But it seemed like right after that, when like adversity was the hardest for Lamar, or the toughest, I guess, or whatever, because I even call him out because he's on my fantasy team too. And I'm like, Lamar, you're terrible. What are you doing? And then it was right after that, he threw a deep one to Hollywood, touchdown. And then just after that, he just went off. Just something sparked. He had a terrible turnover of the one and then just went off in the 4th quarter. And then the rest was history. So good for Lamar. Got to keep it going. People are saying MVP right now. I'm not there yet because he's been kind of mid in the other games other than the Chiefs and the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to say you got to – I don't know. I feel like the MVP usually goes to like it's the best player on the best team.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
So
but we'll see. I mean, what are the Ravens? They're 4-1 also.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was their loss to again?
The Raiders. So they won 4 straight.
Oh, you're right. That was like their first game of the season, right?
Yeah. Monday night. And Lamar kind of choked in that game too. He had a bad fumble.
Yeah.
But
I want to
people are saying the dude can't pass, but he's passing it. So
yeah, never mind. I was gonna backtrack. I don't need to backtrack. That's all I have for NFL this week. We can move on to college football.
All right, let's do it. All right. So it was a crazy Saturday, like I said in the beginning. Started off with the Red River rivalry, Oklahoma, Texas. I had Texas plus 3.5. And I'm thinking when it's tied, well, first of all, they choked. They were up like 28-7 at one point.
Yeah.
But Oklahoma, they were in field goal territory. So I'm like, if Oklahoma makes it, at least Texas will still cover. No, they gave him a touchdown. Terrible tackling. What are you doing? Total choke by Texas. Horns down on that one. You suck. You screwed me over $10. But
you only bet $10 on it. You're that mad.
Yes. But the biggest thing I'm taking away from this is Spencer Rattler. Probably is he one of the most overrated quarterbacks that you can remember? He's terrible. He's awful. And he got benched for Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams started balling. And Spencer Rattler didn't celebrate with his team after the game or anything. And
when was the last time you saw someone who basically, like, coming into this season was the unanimous first overall pick? Like, they were like, this guy's going first overall. Like, as long as he just like basically, if he just like improves a little bit from what he did last year, like he has the athletic ability, like this guy's going first overall. To looking just very sus, getting benched. Whole team looks bad, and then honestly, I don't know.
And Caleb Williams goes in
and the portal.
Go off. No, not yet. I don't understand if he did enter the portal now. Why? Because what if Caleb Williams gets hurt or something, or what if he starts to stink, and then you get another chance, and then you get a chance of redemption. So you might as well wait until the end of the year, unless you get that salty. But it sounds like Caleb Williams is going to start this week, which he should. He's pretty good. So
he's already played more than 4 games, so he can't burn a red shirt.
Yeah,
he can't do that either. So,
but that was a great game. That was one of the better games in a while. So that game was crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
But screw you, Texas. You stink. I hate you.
Yeah,
all right. That one. Next, we're going to move on to UGA, the new number 1 team in the country.
Yes, sir. Or have we always been the number 1 team? Let's be real.
We discussed that last week. But by the way, I don't care where we're ranked. It's week 7. I don't care.
I'm also.
We could be 4. We could be 4. We could be 8. We could be 20. We control our own destiny. So no matter what happens, it'll work itself out. So I'm not hyped over that. But
I agree. Jordan and I have discussed this a lot. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
Jordan and I have discussed this a lot, and we both agree the only rating that matters is the last one. I don't care where we're at any time in between that, just the last one.
Exactly. We control our own destiny. So went out and we're in. So, but anyways, so UGA, they crush Auburn. Defense was spectacular as always, but someone else that was spectacular, Stetson. Stetson was brilliant. 20 for 25, had like 2 touchdowns, I think. And so at the end of the game, Aaron Murray and the boys were discussing, well, when JT is healthy enough, who are you going to start? And Aaron Murray was saying, I'm starting Stetson. Okay. Great story by Stetson.
Reasoning.
He said they got confidence in him. He's been playing well, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, dude, I'm like, what are you thinking? I'm like, Stetson, great story. He's probably the best backup quarterback in the country right now. Yeah. But sorry, we're not winning a natty with Stetson. Do I trust Stetson? Do I think he could beat Kentucky and Florida and all those other guys? Sure. But you're not winning a national championship without JT, because JT has more talent. He has better arm strength. It's just, you're not beating Bama. You're not beating Oklahoma. You're not beating whoever. So
JT definitely gives us that long throw. He gives us that down the field. And honestly, I don't know. It's something Georgia, I feel like,
I don't even
hasn't
think it's a debate.
we've ran that pro style kind of dink and dunk, little power run and then like quick pass offense for so long. And I feel like now that we've kind of switched with Monken into this more like, I mean, we take more deep shots. I mean, we've seen it, especially when we played the, lesser teams. Like, you play UAB or someone, well, we're just chucking.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I guess that was Stetson, but still, it's the concept. I think
my
our
thing is
offense
too is like, yeah, Stetson was great against Auburn, fantastic, but we're just gonna forget that we were playing it safe against Arkansas. He only had to throw it eight times, and we were obviously playing in a way that's just like Stetson, don't make a mistake kind of thing.
right.
Because he's prone to like just make those dumb throws. He didn't really make any against Auburn. He was great against Auburn, but I'm not ready to say it. If JT's 100%, give me JT. But
yeah,
I still trust Stetson. Like if he starts against Kentucky, I still trust him to get the dub. It's just in the bigger picture, you gotta go with JT. So
I agree. I think no.
We gotta pause in the action here.
Sorry. Wait. I need this. Sorry for the interruption.
Technical difficulties. But anyways, speaking of a team that needed a backup quarterback, Penn State, Iowa. Penn State starting quarterback gets hurt. Their backup goes in. He totally stinks. Iowa gets a dub. And they storm the field. And Iowa stormed the field. You're ranked 3. You're playing against the number 4 team. Why are you storming the field?
You never storm the field unless it's a big upset.
It's got to be a crazy ending or an upset. It's kind of like one of those things where kind of thing when it happens. That was not worthy of a storm feeling, a storm of field storming or whatever. But basically my question is with Iowa, they're ranked 2 now. Are they for real?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm kind of caught between like, are they for real or is it a circumstance of everyone else losing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of one-loss teams right now. Like, I don't know, Oregon, Ohio State, to name a few. Penn State now, even though they just lost to Iowa, there's a lot of good one-loss teams. And Bama, I forgot about that. Wow, we haven't even hit on that yet.
Bring up next.
That's wild. I mean, yeah, I kind of feel like it's a product of their position almost. I also think they could be for real. I don't know yet. I can't make a definitive answer right now on Iowa.
I don't think their schedule is too tough coming up. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I don't think they're like a high.
I think they're good. Are they the second best team in the country? No.
Yeah, I'd say they're deserving of the 2 ranking. If it's an AP poll,
right?
Playoff start today, you rank them 2. I say that's fair. Do I think they're the second best team in the country? No. Do I think they're the third best team in the country? No. Do I think they're even the 4th? Probably not. But it's a good story. They got a really good defense. I just don't know about that offense yet. And I mean, I feel like if Penn State starting quarterback stayed healthy, Penn State would have won that game, to be honest. But you never know. That's why they play the game. And I lied about Bama being next year, but I want to talk about this. Georgia's opponent, Kentucky, 6-0 for the first time since 1950. Beat LSU, who's a complete disaster, by the way. Elias Rickson's now opted out of the season, along with Stingley, and I think one of the best wide receivers is out for the season too. They're screwed. That was a bad bad take by me. I said they were going to win 9 or 10 games. I was completely wrong. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, no, I gotta be a man.
You're covering your bases, I guess.
I gotta take my L's. So big L by me. LSU's a disaster, but Kentucky. What are we thinking about them? You think they're for reals? Also, kind of with the Iowa take right there.
I can't tell. I mean, I think. I don't know. I'd probably put it in the same tiers, probably Arkansas. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're fantastic. I mean, I think we handle them fine on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
you're asking about that. I mean, Georgia will take care of business against them. I don't see them beating us, but
yeah,
I do think they're good. They do deserve some respect. I think they could coming second in the East.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a good team. I think the win against Florida was more about Florida losing it than Kentucky winning, and I think I said
Right.
that on the pod a few weeks ago. But I mean, I think they're a good team. I mean, they kind of remind me of that 2018 team where like they'll be like Capital One bullish kind of tier,
Right.
kind of team. But I think they're a good team. But one of the biggest takeaways from Saturday is Bama goes down to Texas A&M on the road, prime time. What happened there? Their defense looks terrible. Are we concerned that Bama's going to miss the playoffs?
Miss the playoffs? I don't think so. I feel like they're still the best one-loss team, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to go to the SEC championship. So, I mean, unless Georgia beats them there. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, if Georgia beats them there, they're out.
They're out. Yeah, they're 100%
Especially
out.
if we're assuming probably Ohio State or someone, wins out, or Oregon. I still feel like you could argue for them, especially with a Pac-12 or a what is it, Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
You would put them in over a 2-loss Bama for sure. That is interesting.
Yeah. If they lose one more, then they're gone, which kind of makes me believe in them a little more because now Saban's going to be on them now, and they're going to feel like their backs up against the wall.
Oh, and exactly.
I feel like now they're just going to start.
If they win the SEC,
going off.
If they win the SEC championship, they're in for sure.
Yeah, if they win out, they're definitely in 100%. I don't think there's any debate about that or
I said.
But it is kind of concerning that the two more talented teams they've played, Florida and Texas A&M, they looked a little sus in both of them.
For sure.
Right? So I think that is a thing for concern. But like I've said all year, you trust Saban, especially now that, backs up against the wall. He'll make sure they're on it and everything. So I think everything's still in front of them. It's all good. Texas A&M, I don't know how good they are, but they're still a talented team. So it's not like we'll be talking about this, but it's not like a Georgia Kentucky thing where Georgia's obviously got all these 5 stars and Kentucky's got all these 3 stars and Kentucky's more about grit or whatever. Like Texas A&M got really talented guys, so that'll happen and everything. But that defense is sus. I'll tell you that. That defense is very sus.
I mean, it was one of those kind of Cinderella stories for A&M. They just kind of had that momentum. They had the secret, I don't know, the secret formula, the X factor. You know what I mean? The unquantifiable. No one knows. The football gods, I don't even know, had graced them that night, and they
on that field goal too. I thought he missed it, and then at the last second it curved in, and then. Yeah. And I was like, I thought he missed it, and if he missed it, Bama would have won. Just because you got to take advantage of those against Bama.
I thought,
Calzada played great.
Who did?
The Texas A&M quarterback, he was awesome, and
and he's been kind of up and down. So.
Yeah, well, more down than up, to be honest. Before that, but he balled, and that environment was crazy too. And Johnny Football was there, and
maybe that was.
Yeah, maybe it's magic of Johnny Football. But
first,
Nick, I was kind of disappointed that Kirby wasn't the first assistant to beat Nick Saban, and because if you didn't know, Jimbo Fisher used to be an assistant for Saban. But if that's what it takes to only potentially play Bama once, beat them, assuming both teams went out, or even Georgia has one loss, either way, assuming it's not Kentucky. Basically, if they both meet in the SEC championship. And Georgia only has to beat them once, Bama's out of the playoffs, and Georgia doesn't have to see him again. I'll take it because I don't like playing the same team twice, especially if it's Bama.
I agree because
especially if both teams were undefeated in the SEC championship game, it obviously didn't really matter. Georgia wins that, Bama's still in it. They meet in the Natty, Bama wins. I'm pissed because I wouldn't care, but I agree. That game means a little more to Bama. So I'll take it 100%. So
that loss gives what am I trying to say? Takes away their wiggle room. So whereas
100%, they got to be on it now.
Like you were talking about, like we could meet in the SEC championship, beat them, and a 1-loss Bama is still making it in the playoffs, but a 2-loss Bama probably won't.
Nah.
unless everyone else also loses.
Unless it's just absolute chaos.
I was about to say, unless Oregon, Ohio State, Iowa, Cincy, if they all lose another game, we're looking at some turbulent waters here.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move to next week here. Let me pull up these games. Give me a sec. Well, oh yeah. All right. Here we go. So first game I want to start out with Sparty, undefeated, 6-0. The Fighting Mel Tuckers going up at Indiana, Michigan State, 4.5 point favorite. Michigan State going to look over Indiana. I think they got Michigan. Yeah, they got Michigan next week. So are they going to be overlooking Indiana and lose?
I don't think so. I think Indiana's still a pretty formidable opponent. I think they'll be locked in.
I think the opposite. I think the Hoosiers are getting dubbed. That's my upset of the week, boys. Yes, my upset of the week, Indiana at home, defeats Sparty. They're going to be overlooking to that Michigan game. They're going down.
You think Sparty loses 2 in a row?
Talk to me next week.
Okay, we'll be back next time on the 6-0 podcast.
So, next, Big 12 matchup, undefeated Oklahoma State against Texas. Texas, 4-point favorites. Oklahoma State keeping it alive for a potential undefeated matchup of Bedlam against Oklahoma.
That's interesting. I feel like, I would have picked Texas even before you told me the line, which is interesting that, an undefeated team is going to have the disadvantage against a team that's lost a couple bad ones, or a couple close ones, I should say. What's Texas's record? They're
4-2, so they've lost to Arkansas and Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah, I still think Texas will probably pull that one off. But honestly, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know. That was a bad loss last week. I wonder if they kind of have a hangover from it, or if it's going to be they're going to turn it on and turn the page.
I think they turn it up. I just called out Texas for them to suck, but I'm sticking with them. Hook them, but I'm not betting on you this week. Next game, Arkansas, Auburn, 2 teams that have in common both getting destroyed by Georgia. Oh no! Oh my God! Breaking news in the 6-0 podcast. Fucking hell! Tyke Smith tears his ACL.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. In practice today. What? He just came back.
No.
Oh God! Why do we get injured so much? Georgia's got the most injuries known to mankind. Fucking hell! And we need them too because Chris Smith is hurt. I don't know if Chris Smith is coming back, but
no way. Sorry, I gotta check this one.
That's somebody I was really excited to watch, and I think he barely played against Auburn. I think he played some special teams and played a little on defense. But damn it. He can come back next year, which I'd imagine he would. But still, damn it.
Good. Oh, that's just terrible. He hasn't played for us, has he? Or did he play a little bit against Auburn?
He played a little bit against Auburn, but he had that foot injury before. I got a headache. Damn it!
Yeah, that's.
Why do we have so many injuries? Like, I sent you a tweet of just like it's literally like 15 people out with an injury, and they're like, it's insane. Fuck! Damn it to hell! Let's just get these picks over with so I can kill myself. Arkansas, Auburn. Who you got?
What's the line?
It's -4.5 Pig Suey. I'm going Pig Suey. Auburn kind of stinks. Bo Nix is not good.
I agree. As we've played against both of them, I I thought Arkansas looked a lot better.
Yeah.
It sounds funny, even though the score maybe didn't represent it, but you could just tell like they're, I don't know. I think
and Georgia being on the road and against Auburn and everything helps. I think against Arkansas, the stage was too big for them, so they just kind of
I agree. There were a
folded.
lot of false starts, and we went up to a quick start, didn't we? It was like 21-0 before they could even
Yeah,
blame.
yeah. All right, so next game we got the Gators. We got Gold Tigers, LSU, Florida 11.5.
11.5.
Yeah, I think Florida covers. To be honest, LSU stinks. I'm done with them. They're dead to me.
Yeah, I'd probably agree
I would
with you.
prefer LSU to win. That would be awesome.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'd probably agree. I think if I had to pick one, I'd pick Florida. This one scares me a little bit though. I don't like the points on this one.
LSU just stinks. I think Florida will beat them, but I wouldn't be surprised. I guess if LSU can keep it close. I mean, I don't know. I think they've given up. I thought they're maybe kind of you'd be pumped up against Kentucky since all the stuff going on with Coach O, and they folded on that one. So I think they're just over this season. All right, next we got our dogs, Georgia, going against Kentucky. First matchup of 6-0 SEC East teams ever. Fun fact.
Really?
Yeah, crazy.
How?
6-0 or better. This is the first time this ever happened.
Is it just wait? Hold on. I want to talk about that a little bit. How does that even happen? How could it be? Unless it's just all the SEC teams just beat each other or something. So
The SEC East, not SEC.
no, I
Like,
know. But
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, that's crazy. Yeah,
interesting. I like that stat. Thank you.
Georgia minus 21.5. I think it started out at 23.5. But what are we thinking?
I don't know. That one's a little tough. I feel like Georgia hasn't given me a reason to not pick them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think Georgia kills them. To be honest,
Really?
I'm
You
not.
think Kentucky
It's
scores on
a
us?
huge game. It's a huge game, but I think we take care of business, even
I
with
think it
Stetson or
depends on
JT.
who's you don't think? I think it could depend on who's the starter, too.
I don't think it matters.
Really?
Nice little story, but
You
look,
think they
nice little
score?
story by Kentucky, but we should smack them.
You think they score on us, though?
Yeah, I think they can score on us.
Okay.
One
I
touchdown.
think so, too.
I think they can get in the end zone
I agree.
eventually.
I think
All
it'll be
right.
about the score of the Auburn game. It'll be like 30
That's what I
something.
was thinking. That's what I was
I
thinking.
think it'll be a similar game, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see what we got next. We got Bama, Mississippi State at Starkville. Some people think Mississippi State maybe can keep it close. Bama minus 17. What we thinking?
Interesting. I don't know. Coming off a tough loss, I feel like they'll have a bounce back. Actually, now that I think about it,
I do too. I think
Saban's gonna play. They're gonna be playing angry. I think
Mhm.
they might just destroy them.
Yeah, I think
That might be one of those games where they just like drop 70 points just because they can. You know.
Yeah,
So
just the don't forget about us kind of thing.
exactly. Like, hey, we're still Bama. So that's
the practice this week at Bama has been intense.
oh, it's been
So,
miserable. They all every single one of them wants to quit.
yeah, they'll be ready. So a
Bama
game.
players come on the podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Tell us about practice. So the last game we're going with is Ole Miss, Tennessee, the Lane Kiffin revenge game. If you remember, he was at Tennessee for a year, then left to go to the USC, and that started a lot of beef. Tennessee is a team that everyone's hyping up because they killed Missouri and they killed South Carolina, two terrible teams. Congratulations, Tennessee. But Ole Miss minus 2.5. What we thinking?
Only 2.5.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about that. Only 2.5. I think they're gonna kill him. Maybe not kill him, but they'll beat him.
I'm low key thinking Tennessee is gonna get the upset, but I hate Tennessee, so I'm not picking them. Hotty toddy, baby, they're getting the dub, maybe. So that's what I'm going with. But yeah, that's it for me. A little quick episode, a little run through. Probably took 45 minutes. Just I don't know. But
yeah. By the way, guys, we do not have we have to just imagine how much this has taken. We don't have. There's no way for me to tell how long the recording's been going. So
we'll find out. But it felt like a shorter episode, so we'll take it.
It wasn't too much to talk about this week. I didn't really want to get into all the drama.
Yeah.
And it's late, by the way. Sorry. It's 10 o'clock at night right now, so I'm a little tired. I'm not going to lie.
Taiki. Taiki, come on the podcast. We love you.
Yeah, please.
Comment if you're at this point, comment love you, Taiki, in the comment section so we know you made it to this point.
Or
so far nobody's
Taiki.
So far nobody's used the comments at the end yet. So I don't know if anybody's made it till the end. Or they just don't feel like commenting. I don't know.
It's definitely because no one has made it to the end. But if you guys are here, let us know.
Say we love you, Taiki, in the comments system or the section or whatever.
I'm begging.
Yeah. What?
Oh, I'm begging the listener to please comment down below if you made it this far.
But that's it for us. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify. Description down below. Shout out to the Spotify listeners. All the links are in the bio and everything. But
we'll be back with a banger next week.
Let's go. Any other closing remarks?
This week had a long week.
Yeah.
Was doing at work, after work. It is what it is. But we're gonna bounce back.
Yeah, insanity. Maybe we'll have a guest star the next week. I don't know. We'll see. But that's it for us. Peace out.
Bye, guys.